Their passionate fan bases have joined them for the Tax Slayer Bowl in Jacksonville. Part of Capital One Bowl Mania, it's the Penn State Nittany Lions of the Big Ten and the Georgia Bulldogs from the SEC East. You heard of football players with high motors? Well, a guy with some really high horsepower just delivered the coin for the toss out to the center of the field. Two-time Daytona 500 winner Dale Earnhardt Jr. in his Tax Slayer Chevrolet on hand today here in Jacksonville. An overcast day, temperature about 60 degrees, and forecast of rain is not until much later in the day. We should be good to go. And hello, everyone. I'm Alan Bestwood. Coach Dan Hawkins is with me. Tiffany Green joins us down on the field in just a moment. These teams both have big stars on the offensive side of the ball. Question is, are they going to be able to get anything done today against two really good defenses?
These guys are very... Georgia comes in with the #1 pass defense in the country. Christian Hackenberg is the name everybody's talking about at quarterback for Penn State. Big guy, 6'4", 230, broken all the Penn State passing records. He's also had a few issues a little bit, only 53% accuracy, and they're 119th in the country in sacks allowed. Over 3 per game. Going to have to solve that today.
And look at the numbers on the right-hand column. Those are the national ranks for this Georgia defense. Hackenberg trying to throw the ball against the #1 passing defense in the country this season. Now, on the other side of the ball, when the Bulldogs are on offense, they are led by a tremendous electric running back.
Sony Michel. Georgia's had so many tailbacks over the year. Nick Chubb was their guy start of the year, got injured in the Alabama game. Sony Michel comes in, extremely talented player, can do it all. Not a lot of depth in that Georgia backfield today. Keith Marshall backs him up. They don't have a lot of guys to spread it around you, but when you got Sony Michel, pretty special player.
But coming at that Georgia offense is one of the top tackle behind the line guys in the country.
Yeah, Carl Nassib has missed the last couple games. 15.5 sacks, leads the country. Consensus All-American, do-it-all type guy for Penn State. Georgia's going to have to control him. We'll see how he is coming off of that injury.
Now, Georgia is playing its first game in 15 years without Mark Richt as its head coach. For more on that, let's go to the field in Tiffany.
Well, these Georgia coaches didn't have an opportunity to talk with their players between Mark Richt's dismissal and the start of bowl practice. Defensive coordinator Kevin Shears said, you know, I saw the concern written all over the players' faces. However, that was met with relief once practice got underway. And quite frankly, the players said it was a much-needed distraction. And talking with senior linebacker Jordan Jenkins, he says these last couple of weeks have been the best practices of his entire career. And he says, we've managed with the preparation. Now it's time to get it done on the field.
Georgia won the toss. Thank you, Tiffany. Has elected to defer. So Penn State will get the ball first. That is the senior kicker for Georgia, Marshall Morgan, getting ready to tee it up. Brandon Polk is standing 5 yards deep in his end zone for Penn State. Penn State and Georgia, the last time they played was for a national championship. They're playing today in the Tax Slayer Bowl in Jacksonville, and we're underway. Polk takes it out of the end zone. He'll get wrapped up and dropped at about the 17-yard line by Raquan Smith. And a look now at our keys to the game, brought to you by Franklin American Mortgage.
Penn State giving up over 3 sacks a game. Not good, 119th in the country. They've got to keep Christian Hackenberg upright. In the kicking game, Georgia's very electric. 3 touchdowns and punt returns this year. We get to Georgia. They got to run the ball, take the pressure off Grayson Lambert a little bit, and then Penn State is not a team that's a 10-play drive-type team. They lead one of the better teams in the country and plays over 30 yards a pop. They've got to limit those explosion plays on defense.
So Hackenberg from the shotgun swings it out to Saquon Barkley, the freshman sensation for the Nittany Lions. He'll just barely get back to the original line of scrimmage. Maybe he'll get one for Penn State. So the season on Penn State, they'll end up with a winning record. They started the season at 5-1, then ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw. They ran into then #1 Ohio State and big ranked teams down the stretch of the season that saw them lose their final 3 to Northwestern Michigan and Michigan State. They come in here looking to secure a win in a bowl that would break a tie with Georgia for 3rd most wins ever. as far as bowl victories are concerned. Here's Barkley, nothing doing around the right side.
Penn State started the game with the screen. We knew they're going to have to get the ball out of hands quick. They go unbalanced and they hurry out of the huddle quickly to try to get an advantage on the edge. Georgia having nothing of it.
So third down here. Penn State yet to score a touchdown on an opening drive this season, and they're not very good on third down conversions so far, just 28% on the season. That's the third worst in all of FBS.
Tough when you get in 3rd and 8. That's tough. Now again, this is where Hackenberg's got to get protected. He can make all the throws, but he needs time to do it.
Got time, makes the throw, and with a catch on the far side of the field, Chris Godwin moves the chains for Penn State.
There you see the really smooth stroke. Good feet, sets up, good eyes, gets the ball out of his hand on rhythm. Little smash route on the outside, throw in the corner, little bit behind, but certainly doable for the first down. That's a good start. Christian needs to get a little confidence early on.
18 yards on the pickup, and so the ball now out for Penn State to the 37-yard line. Yeah, Hawk, I mentioned that they weren't very good at third down. One thing they are very good at, nationally ranked-wise, is big plays. Hackenberg has another one. First down to Gino Lewis, who is across midfield before Dominic Sanders trips him up.
Christian Hackenberg doing a nice job with the internal clock there. Shuffles his feet, moves up in the pocket, but has an idea, can't hang on to it. Look at the nice eyes to the left, coming back, throwing the ball a little bit on the run.
So an 18-yard pass completion followed by a 20-yard pass completion to the junior from Wilkes-Barre. And Penn State in business at the Georgia 43.
Got a new play caller for Penn State today, Ricky Ronnie, of course. New offensive coordinator in the works for the Nittany Lions.
Hackenberg throws on the run, has a receiver, has a first down. Far side, Deshaun Hamilton with the grab for Penn State.
These are all the things that makes Todd McShay think he's number 3 if he were to come out this year. Really nice job. Now, Ricky Ronnie, the new play caller for Penn State, doing a good job moving the pocket, getting him outside a little bit where he could get away from some of the rush.
Ronnie said he wanted to do a few things to get Christian in a rhythm and get the ball out quick and keep him upright at the beginning part of the game. 4 for 4, 52 yards passing on this opening series. They fake the jet sweep and hand off up the middle, not going anywhere. Barkley wrapped up pretty quickly by Quincy Mauger for Georgia.
Mauger's a safety, but he'll get down inside the box a bunch. Back to Penn State. Their offensive line's been a little bit much maligned. They've shuffled a few guys around this year. Coaches talked about, again, trying to get them some confidence early on. They were working a lot on this first 10-play script to start the game so they would get some confidence moving the football and get a rhythm.
And you see that Christian has been dropped a lot in 37 games. Keeping him upright, one of the goals for the Penn State coaching staff today. Here's the jet sweep coming around Brandon Polk, not fooling anybody on that Georgia defense, including Malcolm Parrish.
Penn State wanting to go horizontal early in the game here to spread out, running the fly sweep outside, strung out well. Now you see a little bit of rotation for Georgia, but they don't wholesale substitute like a lot of teams, and therefore they wanted to try to tire out Georgia early on and get them running sideline to sideline.
So they converted the third down and 10 before. Now they lost 3 on that last play. It's third down and 13. They need the 20-yard line to keep the drive going. Under pressure, off the hands of Barkley, picked up and picked off. Dominic Sanders got it before it hit the ground. Interception, Georgia.
Going to a screen pass out here. Christian Hackenberg, good look off, maybe a little hot, but unfortunately comes off not the start that Penn State wanted.
How about the one-handed interception? So the Georgia offense will have pretty good field position as well to start their first possession. The ball is at the 47-yard line as Grayson Lambert leads the Dogs out, and there's Carl Nassib, defensive player, consensus All-American, about all everything. And Sony Michel with the ball for Georgia. Nice gain on first down. Now the Bulldogs opened their season for 2015 at 4-0, ranked as high as 7th in the AP poll, then hit a big stumbling block like Alabama. Consecutive losses to Alabama and Tennessee. That Tennessee loss aggravated with the loss of Nick Chubb for the season with a knee injury, and the dismissal of coach Mark Richt at the conclusion of the season with Kirby Smart, the new head man for the Georgia football program. Into Penn State territory. Lambert makes his first throw through the hands of the Bulldogs' leading receiver, Malcolm Mitchell.
Good little run pass option there. Ball could have been run out to the outside. Got a slant by Malcolm Mitchell. Back into the boundary. He was upset. Should have had it.
Was the story on Grayson Lambert, the graduate transfer from Virginia, transferred over last July after being the Cavaliers starter a year ago. He started 11 of 12 games this season, and you see the numbers. Only 2 interceptions on the season. And a third down here. Lambert gets it off. He'll have the first down. Mitchell coming back across, popped and dropped in the end by Brandon Polk, but Georgia moves the chains with a 13-yard gain.
Grayson Lambert's at his best when he delivers the ball, makes good decisions. They talked about getting the ball to the playmakers. Malcolm Mitchell is one of them. Simple, shallow cross route. Penn State showed pressure on first down, which is a little bit unusual. So coming back with a good shallow cross route, good answer.
There's Trevor Williams, the senior from Baltimore, who made the tackle, the other number 10 on Penn State. Terry Godwin, receiver, lined up in the Wildcat. Here he comes. But not far. Read very well by the Nittany Lion defense. Big number 99, Austin Johnson. Coaches consider him to be really underrated, especially for all the attention that Nassib and Anthony Zettel get.
Georgia always has a little bit of a Wildcat package. Each game, different guys will be in on it. Expect to see a few other things. Haven't really thrown it a bunch, but Penn State, of course, working on that.
So Lambert now back in. Sony Michel is in the slot on the near side. And Grayson will run. Fighting to try and get some tough yards before he's wrapped up there. Grant Haley and Jason Kabinda knock him down for Penn State. Gain of 5.
Good decision. He can run a little bit. Penn State drops back into 3 deep, only rushing 4, but this front, 3 of those 4 defenders were all Big Ten players. They've got a salty front up there, but good decision by Grayson Lambert. And that's how he's got to win today. Make good decisions.
So 3rd and long. After the Wildcat play, lost some yardage. You see the line that the Bulldogs need to keep the drive alive. Lambert throws to the outside, and I'm trying to figure out who he was throwing that to, because there wasn't anybody but guys on the bench in those red jerseys.
A little bit of miscommunication. Off coverage to the wide side of the field. I think thought he was going to be a little bit of a hitch. Careful, that one has not been picked off.
So here's Marshall Morgan, the senior kicker from Fort Lauderdale, out there to give a go of a 49-yard field goal. His long this year is 47. His career long is 56. Off the post and in. And some extracurriculars going on at the line of contact. Officials step in to break that up. It just has to go through to count. Doesn't matter if you get some help. Those fans visited the Landing in downtown Jacksonville, where both teams held pep rallies yesterday. How cool is that?
Well, you invited me down to your home state, Alan, and it's been raining. I was trying to get the sunburn. I brought my sunblock. Didn't even have to put it on.
Yeah, it's a little overcast. Yesterday had some rain, but still, it's 60 degrees. I know there's other places where it's 30. And so Georgia turns the turnover on the interception into points with a 7-play, 26-yard drive, capped off by the Marshall Morgan field goal. Polk with his second kick return. He'll fight his way out across the 20-yard line, get knocked out of bounds right around there. Lynch and Barkley in the backfield. This will be Barkley. Georgia defense, Leonard Floyd, 84, did a nice job of kind of stringing that one toward the outside. And a penalty flag comes in. A lot of pushing and shoving after the play.
Safety Quincy Mauger for Georgia doing a nice job playing down in the box a lot. Really instrumental in the run game. See if they can take advantage of that again. Try to get over the top. Play action.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 6, defense. 15-yard penalty. That's an automatic first down. That's a first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for number 6.
It's Natrez Patrick, the freshman from Atlanta, one of the middle linebackers for interim Georgia head coach Brian McClendon. And so free yardage there for the Nittany Lions across midfield down to the 47-yard line. Raquan Barkley will get about 2 tough yards off the right side.
Got a couple of situations in the last 2 drives here. Penn State had a 3rd and 1, then a 3rd and 3 where you might have been able to go for it. I think they still need to be patient with that running game. Raquan Barkley, let him do his thing. He's a 1,000-yard rusher. Give him some opportunities.
That's Barkley a step behind and off to Christian Hackenberg's left. He'll have the ball. Will not get anything. Maybe a half yard. Maybe. And it'll set up 3rd down. As this first quarter runs to a close, you see that Penn State has not been a great come-from-behind team when trailing early in the game.
They just, let's face it, let's be honest, it's the elephant in the room, right? Yeah. They have not been great on offense. Neither one of these teams. They've been great on defense, been sporadic at times on offense. That's why James Franklin's made a change at offensive coordinator to try to shake things up.
Hackenberg will run, but he'll step out of bounds shy of the line to gain. And with 1 second left in this first quarter, it will bring up a 4th down situation for the Nittany Lions.
You can see there he runs okay. That's not where he's going to make his living. Again, I like what Ricky Ron and Coach Franklin are doing, moving the pocket around. They've changed the launch point, which is important. I think both defenses in this game have pressured a lot more in early downs than I expected them to.
So the first quarter ends with Georgia leading by a field goal. An opening drive, an impressive opening drive for Penn State, ended with an interception. Georgia, with an impressive opening drive, ended in a field goal. And 2 of the most storied teams in college football meeting for just the 2nd time. And a close defensive struggle so far as expected. A turnover leading to those 3 points has been the story of the game so far. Penn State facing 4th and 3 will punt from its own 39-yard line. Fair catch signaled for and made at the 13-yard line by Terry Godwin. Some of the numbers from the first quarter. Hawk talked about these being really tough defenses on both sides of the ball, and I think these statistics reflect that.
Yeah, you know, you look at that yards per play, 2.5, really amazing. Time of possession, of course, sometimes that's overrated. I think the turnover was the key. That's been the key stat, and it is normally in these games. That led to the lone field goal by Georgia.
So as expected, as we were told to expect by Brian McClendon, the interim head coach, Bryce Ramsey comes in at quarterback. The sophomore who has thrown the ball 33 times this season, run it 3. He'll hand it off to Sony Michel. And a crack of the shoulder pads over the far side. Parker Cochran and Jason Kabinda on the stop for Penn State. So Bryce Ramsey Played in 9 games this year. He's been the punter for the last 5, as I mentioned before. He's got 4 career touchdown passes, 1 this year. You'll remember he played the second half of the Bulldogs bowl game a year ago up in Charlotte in the Belk Bowl after the starter then, Hudson Mason, was injured.
Had Bryce in the Nike Combines. I really liked him. You know, sometimes it's interesting for a guy whether he gets off on a good note or not. I think he's probably not had the career that most Bulldogs would want, but I think he's a pretty talented player if he could just catch a groove.
He's going to throw that one too high and over the head of Terry Godwin.
Yeah, and I think it was probably a good decision. I think there was underneath coverage right there. I think he put it in the only spot he could.
The Penn State bench.
Better than the end zone down there.
Yep.
Backed up, 3rd and 8. Certainly earning your scholarship on this down, and really a chance to prove to Kirby Smart, who we think is rumored to be in the building here at some point, what he's got.
Going to hand it to Sony Michel, who's going to have the first down and more. All the way out to the 43-yard line for Sony Michel. 28 yards. There's one way to get your 3rd and 8.
Had him schemed up. See there, 2 pullers going out left. That's a tendency chart. They knew what they were going to get on 3rd and long. That's a coaching strategy decision. Big play, big call for 3rd and 8. Not going to see too many runs in that situation.
So they'll spot the ball at the 42. Keith Marshall now, the setback, as Michel goes for a breather. Penn State brings numbers. Marshall chased down from the backside. Brandon Bell came from all the way on the other side of the field to make that tackle after a 4-yard gain.
Penn State is running a decent amount of zone blitz. Coming from the field right here, there's going to end up being 2 defenders, and they end up chasing this thing down from the backside. That's your classic zone blitz play. Tough because you've got the defense all angling in that direction.
Now the fullback Christian Payne in the eye with Marshall having the ball. Up from the defensive backfield, Malik Golden makes the hit for Penn State, and it'll set up 3rd down for the Bulldogs.
That's where you see Keith Marshall a little bit. You can see he was just a little rugged on the cut back there. This guy's a very electric player. All the knee injuries he's been. I think that's what they're kind of joking a little bit on the sideline. He saw it and he got to it. But I think a Keith Marshall a couple years ago might have hit that slipstream on that cutback just a little quicker.
So Michel back in. Georgia 2 of 5 on 3rd down today. And you see they need to get 3. The throw near side, stretching to try and get it, but they'll mark him on the sideline shy of the line to gain. Jeb Blazevich, the tight end. But they're going to come up short. It'll be 4th, and it looks like 1.
Now, on one hand, you might think go. Penn State's going to play safe. They're not believing it's a punt at all as well. We've seen a number of trickeration in the bowl season. You got plenty of time to put in a bunch of fakes.
Colin Barber, the senior from Cartersville, Georgia, is on to do the punting this time since Ramsey was in at quarterback. He'll drop the nose of that ball down. And we'll have Penn State back at its 11-yard line after the fair catch by Greg Garrity. Second quarter, 3-0 Georgia. So Penn State from its 11-yard line with Christian Hackenberg to throw on 1st down. The bubble screen on the far side. It's caught, and a nice gain. Will he get 1st down yardage? Making it all the way to the line to gain is Chris Godwin. And some pushing and shoving after the play over by the Penn State sideline as some of the Georgia players wound up with a lot of white right in their face.
Yeah, you're going to see the play get jumped inside. Normally, you're going to want to take that thing outside and spill it back into your defenders. Chose to try to make a play and cut it underneath and unable to get there.
So 19 yards and a 1st down for Penn State. They'll run the same thing again. And they'll get about 6 on that one.
Pretty popular scheme. We saw that the other day in Birmingham with Gus Malzahn. I probably 5 or 6 times when they had a successful play, come right back to it, run the exact same play. But I like them getting the ball out of his hands quicker. I don't want to see this guy running the football.
And really, you know, when we talked with the Penn State coaches 2 days ago, James Franklin told us they had to keep Christian Hackenberg upright, they had to keep him clean, and they needed to run plays where they got the ball out quickly. There's Barkley, who just hasn't had anything much to go for except that 1 9-yard run he had earlier. They've kept the freshman sensation pretty well bottled up.
Yeah, and you see Floyd right there. He's a beast, and he was the guy that they were most concerned about out on the edge. Now, every time Penn State has tried to run toss or get the play outside, Georgia's rolling up the corner, up in the flat, and holding the edge there and pursuing it. They've not been able to get much yardage outside.
So that's the backup quarterback, Trace McSorley, the redshirt freshman from Ashburn, Virginia, warming up, though Christian Hackenberg stays in the game, receives some attention for a while by the Penn State medical staff during that timeout, but fires that one complete. It's Chris Godwin, 30-yard line and more. Looked okay to me.
Did a nice job stinging the ball out here right in the seam. Good job with the eyes controlling. Good run after the catch. We saw him running down the field here. Watch Hackenberg. Yeah, that thing is bothering him now. They've got McSorley warming up over on the sideline. We'll see now. Your arm normally will stay okay, but you go back on the sideline. If it gets cold a little bit, tough to throw.
So 51 yards gets the Nittany Lions into the red zone at the 18-yard line.
Penn State coming back unbalanced to the top of your screen again.
Barkley just got nothing. Met nicely in the backfield by Jake Gaines, the captain, the senior from Chelsea, Alabama, starred for UAB for the last couple of years, and then when their football program went away, they brought him over to Georgia. Can a guy from Conference USA do something in the SEC? Yeah, he can.
Yeah. He's their leading tackler. He also has 2 interceptions. Did a nice job reading the guard pull. You saw both linebackers very disciplined, sitting there, guard pull filled nicely.
So a loss of 1. And we'll get another look at that Hackenberg shoulder here. Fires through the hands, falls to the ground. In and out of the hands of Kyle Carter, the tight end, and that was in the air for a dangerously long time.
Again, it's another ball. You see his shoulder right there. It's bothering. They're gonna bring him out.
Yep.
He kind of sidearmed that ball, but again, I think a lot of those shorter throws, he puts a little sting on it. See right there, a little high as well.
So Trace McSorley, the redshirt freshman, comes in. He's appeared in 6 games this year. He was 5 for 8 for 39 yards in the Michigan State game. And he comes in facing a 3rd down and 11 with the play clock at 2. And a safe play call to just keep it.
I don't know. You just lost
safe, maybe. Yeah.
You lost your starting quarterback with his shoulder, and your backup comes in. You're going to run him on lead play. Whew.
Safe in terms of keeping possession of the ball and giving your field goal kicker a shot to tie the game, but not safe when those big 270-pound Georgia defensive backs are banging on him. As you see Hackenberg heading to the Penn State locker room, which is around the opposite side of the field from where their bench is.
Boy, that's tough in so many ways. Just what a great kid, what a great player. You hope he ends up being okay for a variety of reasons.
Here's Tyler Davis from 34, and the ball game is tied. Points at a premium in this one halfway through the second quarter. But we're even at 3. So there's the backup quarterback, Trace McSorley, now on the headset, sitting with the offensive unit. Will he be the one that'll have to lead the Nittany Lion drive for the rest of the game, or can the training staff do something for Hackenberg? Can he come back out and be effective? Keith Marshall standing back deep, along with Reggie Davis. The kick will go short. And Georgia will start at the 28-yard line. Back on the field, Grayson Lambert back at quarterback. Sony Michel sees the fake, and it's Mckenzie with a first down and more. Had one man to beat, and he got tracked down by Brandon Bell, but not before he has a massive gain and the ball across midfield.
Nice little reverse to start the series. They talked about just getting the ball in their playmakers' hands. This guy's got speed, straight line speed. Hand him the fly sweep, reverse, short screens, deep balls, whatever it is. Just get the ball to your guys that can make plays.
Georgia's had a 28-yard run from Sony Michel. That one went for 26 by Mckenzie. And other than that, they've had nothing on the ground. And have nothing there. Maybe two.
Great job by the Penn State defense. These guys are one of the top defenses in the country. They're 14th in total defense in the country, and very good against the run. And but I think if you're Georgia, you got to stay patient and stay in there and stay after. You just can't let them dictate the box. See Coach Shoop right there.
There you go. Talked about having their two starting defensive ends back, who missed some time late in the season injured, was huge for them for this bowl game. So Terry Godwin lined up in the Wildcat here. Looks to throw. Downfield's got a man wide open, and a Georgia touchdown to Malcolm Mitchell. You see a little bit of everything in a bowl game.
They had not thrown the ball much, but you're going to see double post routes out here. Going down the seam, they're going to end up throwing the ball. He runs out right, double post. Nice scheme. Now, Coach Shoop said they had not thrown it much, but they'd been working on it, so I'm sure he wasn't happy that they end up going Wildcat and throwing a long bomb for a touchdown, because no, they worked against it.
Point after good, and Georgia goes up by a touchdown as Terry Godwin throws it deep. Malcolm Mitchell with his 5th TD reception of the year. And suddenly Georgia running up its offensive total pretty quickly from what it had been for a good bit.
Well, if you're going to have somebody throw a pass, it's not the quarterback, it's probably the guy that got drafted in baseball.
Yeah, that's true. This will be Brandon Polk. Got a little room. Hit and tripped up by the kicker and finally knocked down at the 38-yard line, but a nice return for Penn State to try and swing a little momentum back to their side of the field. So now the story on the other side for the guys wearing white jerseys becomes the young man at quarterback. Redshirt freshman Trace McSorley into the game for one play last series after Christian Hackenberg was injured and had to go to the Penn State locker room. Coming around this way, it's Polk. He'll get out to about the 44-yard line, and a nice gain on first down for the Nittany Lions. Tiffany? All right, we'll check back with Tiffany in just a second. Believe she's getting us an update on Christian Hackenberg. First pass from McSorley to the near side again to Polk. Very short gain before he's pushed out. It'll set up 3rd and short. About 2 needed for Penn State.
Now, the issue you have as the backup quarterback, Alan, it's always not exactly like the NFL, because typically your backup will get some reps, but if you've got a 12-play scripted practice, your starter's probably getting 8 or 9, and your backup's getting, you know, 3, 4 pops in there maybe. But there's a lot of these plays he will not have repped a bunch. So Ricky Ronnie, the new play caller for Penn State, is going to have to tailor his game plan down to what his young man can do.
Ball will fall incomplete. It was batted as he threw it by Rico McGraw for Georgia, and it'll bring up 4th down, and the Penn State kicking unit comes onto the field.
Been a lot of defensive backs involved at the line of scrimmage for the Georgia defense. Now, when Christian Hackenberg was in the game, he did hit the seam route But at some point, you're going to have to go play action, throw the ball over the top to keep these DBs from playing up around the line of scrimmage.
Isaiah McKenzie, the SEC active leader in punt returns for touchdowns, has 4 in his career. Gonna run the fake. Not gonna get it. Evan Schwan tried to get the 2 yards around the far side, but Malcolm Parrish had it sniffed out.
What a nice play. Again, I've seen a lot of fakes in this bowl season. Going to snap it back here. It's going to end up being fake run out here. You're going to see Parrish playing off the block, come running downhill. That's a pretty good tackle on a big man.
Needed one more white shirt out there. One more white hat.
Hey, if you're James Franklin, you got to take a few chances in this game.
Especially
you got your backup quarterback. You're not that prolific on offense anyway. You got a good defense.
So the unsuccessful fake gives the Bulldogs great starting field position at Penn State's 45, leading by 7. Lambert had all kinds of time to throw. Hits Malcolm Mitchell inside the 30, down to about the 27. Grant Haley finally knocked him down. 18-yard gain for the Bulldogs.
Simple dig route there.
Michelle stacked up. Anthony Settle gets through and gets his arms on the running back for the first time. And a timeout to be called here by Georgia, their second.
Got 2 new play callers in this game. John Lilly, the tight end coach, calling plays for Georgia now. Of course, he called plays last year's bowl game for Georgia as well. And then Ricky Ronnie over on Penn State. So 2 new offensive coordinators getting a crack at time management and situation management.
Here's a look at Coach Lilly.
The biggest issues, you got new dentists, new Little League coaches, realtors. It's a very unsettling time, but I think these guys are really focused on these kids and having a 10-win season, and that means a lot to them. I think they're handling it very professionally.
Michelle inside the 20 and a first down. Grant Haley on the stop. Would be huge for Penn State to find a way to hold Georgia to a field goal here. And for the Bulldogs, what a momentum swing. Remember, they'll get the ball to start the second half. Almost Terry Godwin.
You'd like to have your veteran quarterback kind of throw that ball down a little bit. You got plenty of space. Throw him down, throw him open. He's just throwing it up, what we call up the stem there. When he's got plenty of room out in front, just let him bend up. Easy throw, easy catch. That's a tough throw or tough catch to make when you're going up the stem.
Look at Grayson Lambert's passing numbers in this first half.
30 seconds to go. Still plenty of time.
Penn State tries to bring pressure. Nice protection. Touchdown, Georgia. Godwin.
Came right back to it. Said we didn't get it the first time. We got it open. Let's come right back to it. They do, and he makes a great catch.
Didn't he, though? Hands over his head, spinning around. Brought the ball down, got his feet down. So now Colin Barber is in to kick the point after try. And we're going to go to the locker room with Georgia up by 2 touchdowns. Our Coke Zero halftime report with Adnan, Joey, and Danny coming up. Halftime score here in the Taxslayer Bowl. Georgia 17, Penn State 3. The Taxslayer Bowl from Jacksonville, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Getting ready for the second half with the Georgia Bulldogs leading the Penn State Nittany Lions by 2 touchdowns. And Georgia about to get the ball. I think others probably liking the day pretty well. Alan Bestwick and Coach Dan Hawkins. We said at the top of the show, Hawk, that each team had its stars on offense, but getting something accomplished against 2 very tough defenses would be key. Well, Georgia's been able to get a little bit accomplished. Penn State's in some trouble.
Well, it's tough with Christian Hackenberg going out with the injuries. He got knocked around a little bit early on, took a few hits, did a nice job throwing the seam ball. You see, he took a few pops, then he rolls out here, takes off running, and then bam, lands on that right shoulder. He hung in there, made a few nice throws, but finally had to leave the game.
And our game track, brought to you by Marathon, shows you the numbers really are pretty close for both teams. The one turnover for Penn State.
Critical, because that and the penalty led to the first field goal initially.
So teams back on the field, and the ball in the air for the second half, and Georgia leading by 2 touchdowns. Will start from the touchback on its 25-yard line. Tiffany Green's been monitoring the Hackenberg situation and all other things down by the locker rooms.
Yeah, Alan, we saw Christian Hackenberg go down early in the second quarter. I talked to head coach James Franklin. He says he is out for the rest of the game, so he potentially may have played his last game in a Penn State uniform. So to help Trace McSorley, he says we've got to get the running game going more downhill, not so much side to side. Defensively, we've got to put pressure on the quarterback. And for Georgia, well, Ryan McClendon said very simply, we still left too many opportunities out there on offense. Look for them to make some bigger plays and take even bigger shots this second half.
All right, Tip, thanks. So Grayson Lambert throws on Georgia's first offensive play of the second half. Jeb Blazevich will fight forward and have first down yardage for the Bulldogs.
Nice little play action to start the game. Faking a lead draw there, end up throwing the underneath route. They're going to go no huddle and go fast.
This is Michelle. Runs into a wall of white, balls out, but it'll go out of bounds.
Marcus Allen, boy, he came downhill in a hurry. Look at him, he's all fired up.
And you can hear the crack from up here.
There's a little hitting going on. You see right there, look at him. Stuns the point of attack and ends up making the tackle.
So loss with the fumble going out of bounds, sets the ball back to the 29-yard line, a loss of 7.
I think this Penn State defense has to get aggressive, blitz. They need negative plays. They got to play some zone and see the ball and go for interceptions. They've got to score and create some momentum for their offense.
Yeah, and trailing by 2 touchdowns, they've got to stop Georgia here. They really do. That's a pass to Michelle. He'll be ruled out of bounds on the far sideline, and it'll bring up 3rd and long. A couple of injury updates for Georgia. Wide receiver Reggie Davis and the place kicker Marshall Morgan have both suffered right ankle sprains and are out of the game. That explains why we saw Colin Barber kicking the point after try a little bit ago.
Now, should we dare ask how that actually happened?
Well, Morgan's been known to be pretty aggressive trying to make tackles on kick coverage too, so. On 3rd down, gets it to Mitchell, and a first down for the Bulldogs.
That was a sweet throw. Boy, Penn State playing quarter, half, meaning half field coverage into the boundary there. 2 safeties out to the field. You see right here, nice job fitting the ball right in between the corner and the safety. That is a precision throw.
3rd and 16, they got 23, and the ball into Penn State territory at the 48-yard line.
Grayson Lambert has got hot before this season. He's been very effective. When he's in rhythm, he's tough.
Here's Godwin. Slung to the ground by Garrett Sickles for a short gain.
Yeah, I like it. Just a simple, quick throw. Again, Godwin, they want to get their playmakers the ball. Nothing fancy, but if he can make a move, beat somebody, you got some room up the sideline.
Yeah, Godwin, talk about making an immediate impact on a team for a true freshman, right? 8 starts in 12 games so far this year. And has a throwing touchdown and a receiving touchdown in the bowl game. Interim head coach Brian McClendon looking on as his Bulldogs face 2nd and 9.
So you got a kicker with the sprained ankle here. Manage this down in distance. Maybe you can go for it on 4th and short.
Michelle, nice fight after first contact. Eventually knocked down by Austin Johnson and Jason Kabinda. Brings up 3rd down, and we'll call it 5 for the Bulldogs. Again, right back into that same situation for the Penn State defense, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Opening possession, 3rd quarter. A stop would be huge. Al Nassib. Can Penn State's defensive front star make something happen? Leads the nation in forced fumbles.
Georgia's done a nice job so far. He drops into coverage this time.
Almost intercepted. Anthony Zettel also dropping into coverage from his defensive tackle spot, and he got a hand on that one.
Nice look by Coach Shoup. Looked like it was bringing pressure, but then dropped D lineman back into coverage. You see all three of the defensive linemen back up and almost threw it right to Zettel. That was a nice scheme.
So on 4th down, the Georgia punter will be Bryce Ramsey, and Greg Garrity will stand back on his 10-yard line for Penn State.
Georgia's missing a end over on the other side. I think they're going to punt this with 10 guys.
Remember, Ramsey is a quarterback, but he'll kick that one with the left foot. Garrity with a nice fake. Brought a couple of defenders with him over to the far sideline, but the ball into the end zone. And Everbank Field, where the Tax Slayer Bowl finds Penn State and Georgia separated by 2 touchdowns. I'm sorry, someone in a swimming pool on a 60-degree day is a little shocking for a Floridian. I'm sure for the folks from up north, it's a welcome change.
Easy.
Just saying.
Well, it's rained a lot the last couple days, but has not been raining offense so much in this game. Georgia's had a couple opportunities, but going to see what Penn State can get to here now with the backup quarterback, Christian Hackenberg, out of this game. What are the options for Penn State? Well, it's hard to open up the playbook when you got a backup guy in. Now, I think they're trying to do some things in the pass game to manage sacks. That'll help him. But now Saquon Barkley's got to be a bigger part of the offense.
Nick Scott, the tailback in the game at the moment for Penn State. And McSorley's going to throw. They'll move the pocket. He'll throw far side, almost intercepted. Nice close on the ball by Dominic Sanders to try and get there.
Tried to come back with that same kind of a China smash route combination. Hitch on the outside, corner out behind that Georgia scored on. Just got to throw that a little better timing.
Dominic Sanders, the team leader in interceptions, and he's got 205 yards of interception returns this year. And if he catches the ball, he's going to run with it for a while. Here's Barkley. Nothing. Georgia has done a tremendous job of bottling up Saquon Barkley. That's his 11th carry. He's had 24 yards of rushing on those 11 carries.
Kirby Smart is going to be very fired up because this Georgia defense returns almost everybody. They got a ton of guys that are going to be back in a Bulldog uniform next year.
8 of the 11 rushes for Barkley in this game have been 1 yard or less. And now it's 3rd down and long for Penn State.
It's very hard to throw the football downfield with a rookie quarterback. You get into the screen game, and normally people sitting all over that.
Throws won't be quite close enough to his intended receiver, Deshaun Hamilton. And the punt unit will come on for Penn State. McSorley under some pressure there from the Georgia defensive front. They did a nice job picking up the numbers Georgia was bringing, but he kind of threw that one off the back foot and a little too far ahead of the receiver. So the special teams game for Georgia. There's Isaiah McKenzie. 2 punt returns for touchdown this year. And the Penn State kicker, Daniel Pasquarello, standing at his own 6-yard line.
Probably smart to get this thing out of bounds. We're out here. Oh, gonna test him.
Catches it at the 40. Makes a couple miss. Got some room. Still going. Finally caught from behind and knocked down. But Mckenzie has the Bulldog offense in business at the 21-yard line. A 39-yard kick and a 37-yard return.
The first thing out of Coach Franklin's mouth was, I'm very concerned about their return game. I thought that ball might go outside. Now look at, he is just breaking tackle after tackle. This is a superior run. I really thought that ball would be punted, at least outside the numbers near the sidelines to kind of restrict the field.
And look at that, Hawk. I mean, it's not that they had bad coverage on that. He just made a miss.
Somewhere Chris Spielman's talking about tackling. I know he's talking about tackling there.
Sony Michel fights to the goal line. And a touchdown, Georgia. just wasn't going to be tackled. And so now the point after try. Is good. Sony Michel has certainly been a big chunk of the Georgia offense for a lot of this season after Nick Chubb went down in the Tennessee game.
James Franklin has done so many awesome things for Penn State, and they've overcome so many obstacles. And really last year they battled in a lot of games. They talked about this year, you obviously the close loss to Northwestern and battled Michigan, and then really by their own admission the Michigan State game kind of got away from them a little bit. But trying to end the season here on a positive note. They are having a great recruiting year as well up at Penn State, and you just want to go into your off-season conditioning and recruiting with a good feeling and trying to build a little bit of momentum.
Met with James Franklin out here a couple days ago on Thursday. Talked to him about the process of rebuilding. He said, I would take the Penn State job 10 times out of 10, but I would never recommend to anyone taking a job under sanctions. He said they only had one scholarship offensive lineman when he took the job. And what that will allow them to do is to rebuild the depth. And depth is really what they've been missing on this team. Brandon Polk, a freshman. He'll get about 5, maybe 6.
Patrick putting the pads down on him right here. This was part of the plan to try to stay outside. I think Georgia actually has rolled in a lot more defensive guys than maybe Penn State thought they would.
And here's the other thing I'll say, just to kind of wrap up the story for Penn State on the sanctions and the limitations and so on. Through all of it, through the end of the Paterno era, the interim coaches, the O'Brien era, through the 2 years of the Franklin era, as McSorley throws to Barkley, they've never had a losing season yet.
Yeah, they certainly have done a nice job just bringing it back in a program that almost had the life sucked right out of it.
And there were a lot of folks who thought that not only was the death penalty for the Penn State program a possibility, but even that the sanctions and the bowl ban and so on that was imposed would be just like it. It would cripple the program so bad. And a credit to the players who stayed, the players who came, and to the coaching staffs that have come through.
Well, and guys like Carl Nassib who walked on.
Yep.
You know, people, really good players that walked on.
McSorley complete on 3rd down to Godwin, who'll be out to midfield.
There you go, step up and throw a strike.
21-yarder there.
One of the hidden messages of football, all the things you can get out of it. Keep battling under adversity, keep playing. Don't worry about the score. Be as good as you can be. All those altruistic values that all the coaches believe in are really played out sometimes in situations like this.
And you see Chris Godwin has had himself a day today in this bowl. He's been the guy for Penn State. McSorley going to keep. Get 5, maybe 6 before he's wrapped up and dropped by Jake Gaines. Worked with us earlier, Christian Hackenberg on a running play. A scramble out of the pocket when all his receivers downfield were covered. Got dropped and had a player, a 276-pound defensive end, fall on top of him as he was going to the ground, kind of forced his right shoulder into the ground. He stayed in for most of the rest of that series, but after attempting to throw a couple of balls, had to leave the game. He's on the sideline now in street clothes. We have no specific update on any injury, but obviously he's not coming back. Here's Barkley. All the way down to the 15. "29 yards. 29 of his 53 total for the day right there.
Faking the fly sweep, coming back with the power back underneath it. Georgia's been playing outside on that play. Nice little counter coming back inside.
McSorley threw. It was in behind Godwin. They weren't on the same page on the coverage read. 2nd down for Penn State. You talk about the meaning of a bowl game for teams, and when you've got young players like Trace McSorley or some of the other younger players for Penn State and Georgia, and the chance to get those extra practices in and play this game around New Year's, shortens up the time from the end of that Thanksgiving weekend game till the beginning of spring practice.
Dominic Sanders coming in there. These DBs from Georgia can tackle now. They're going to get up in there. They're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. Kevin Sherr bringing pressure.
I was just standing here thinking and didn't know whether to say it or not, but that was a read play. He was trying to make a read, and he said, here, you take it, because one of us is going to get hit. There's Shearer.
Well, the other thing here is for Georgia, they got their next head coach sitting in the stands, too. They want to impress that guy and not relax and keep playing.
McSorley under pressure, gets away, throws short. They'll say it's a catch inbounds on the far side by Saeed Blacknall, his first catch of the day.
Got an official right on it.
That's nice.
It's like a pretty good call. That's excellent technique, good throw.
And so it's 4th down.
Very nice. Official right there, make a good call.
They need the 5-yard line. Ball is on the 12. As time has expired on the 3rd quarter. When one guy has a touchdown throw and a touchdown reception, your team's probably having a good day. That's the case for Georgia's Terry Godwin. The Dogs are leading by 21. So here's Penn State. On 4th down, they need 12. 0 for 2 on 4th down today. Their backup quarterback, Trace McSorley, leading the Nittany Lions offense. Will Georgia bring the heat? They drop the coverage. McSorley throws to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Penn State. Geno Lewis with the catch.
Good for those guys. Good for Trace McSorley. Great to see those guys coming back. Excellent hands, placement. Got an official sitting right on it.
Point after try, and it's good for Penn State. So finally a touchdown just inside the 4th quarter for the Nittany Lions. Geno Lewis, the redshirt junior out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, with a nice catch. And how about the patience by Trace McSorley?
He got a little antsy at first, settled himself. Couldn't quite see the foot down there at the bottom, but it looked to be clean. Here we go.
Yep.
Nice.
Right foot hit first inbounds. So does Penn State kick an onside kick here? Just for giggles. It's a bowl game. You're down by a couple of touchdowns. It's
I think it could certainly be checked with me and try to pop it in somewhere.
There it is, toward the right sideline. It's going to go out of bounds before they can catch up to it. And that will be a kick out of bounds penalty. So Georgia from its own 30-yard line, leading by 2 touchdowns. 11 minutes to go in the game. Sony Michel looking to create something, and now not going to get anywhere. Bottled up in the defensive backfield by Grant Haley and Garrett Sickles.
Sickles doing a nice job, really stepping up and playing well. We've not seen as much from the All-American 95 Carl Nassib, but this D-line has really played well today against Georgia.
And some numbers for you, Hawk. Georgia had 198 yards of total offense in the first half. Here in the second half, they've got 91, so not quite half to that. 3rd quarter, aside of the 1 score, been pretty quiet as Penn State's defense has stepped up. Michel again. Hanging on his back is Sickles. As we check in the studio with Adnan. Interesting. So the carousel continues. Final day of the NFL regular season tomorrow here in Georgia. A third down and long here for Georgia. A third down and long. They need the 40. Lambert's going to throw it away. Nothing to do. Good coverage downfield by Penn State. And the Dogs will have to punt.
Rushing 4. Penn State brings only 4. Played man underneath, 2 deep over the top. See right here, man. Locked up everywhere. Grayson Lambert, smart decision. Field position could change a little bit here. Georgia needs to get some things going, but look out for Penn State. Get that crowd going a little bit here. Young quarterback come out, hit a couple throws.
So Ramsey kicks from his 14. Garrity makes a sliding catch at the 42-yard line. That's where the Penn State offense will come back onto the field. Taxslayer Bowl in Jacksonville. Georgia and Penn State playing for that trophy. 9 minutes to go in the ball game. Alan Bestwick, Dan Hawkins, Tiffany Green, and our ESPN college football crew here with you. And Penn State gaining a little momentum here. Scored a touchdown to close to within that 14. And now their backup quarterback, Trace McSorley, after the defense gets a stop with good starting position for this drive. Here's Barkley. And a good run. Into Georgia territory and inside the 40-yard line for Saquon Barkley.
Georgia's been dropping a safety down into the box to help out with a run, but he gets caught up inside. Saquon throwing a little bit of speed.
And the top true freshman rusher in the nation gets 20 on that one. Feeling it a little bit in this second half. Sorley steps away from one and runs for his life out of bounds. He'll get down to the 35-yard line.
They've been using that play action, pulling the backside guard, faking to the back, bootleg and out. And it's helped a little bit with the outside rusher, but pursuit coming from the backside in a quick way. Clearly in 4-down territory here.
James Franklin's team not known for coming from behind in this season. They're trying to rally here in Jacksonville.
It's hard when you don't have a lot of explosiveness in your arsenal.
Barkley again on the delay inside. Sniffed out nicely. The inside was all plugged up. He tried to dance away, but getting a wrap around his ankles and knocking him down was Raquan Smith, the freshman from Montezuma, Georgia.
Like the play call. Barkley's shown his wares, done a nice job. You got 2 downs to get a first down. Don't want to go away from your playmakers, and he's one of them.
So a loss of 1 brings up 3rd and 8. Akil Lynch in at tailback.
They've tried to screen in this down and distance, has not been great.
Nothing. Did not fool Leonard Floyd for Georgia. And so 4th down.
Kirby Smart's going to like 84.
Yeah, you think? James Franklin, the Penn State coach, talked about him specifically in our meetings with him. Said we are going to have to game plan for 84. Hackenberg standing next to his coach, watching his team go for it on 4th down.
Here's Chris Godwin down here, bottom of your screen.
Got a receiver. Geno Lewis to the 20-yard line. 1st down, Penn State.
Looky, looky. Youngster getting hot. Give the O-line for Penn State some credit. Doing a good job with the pocket presence. Dig right on the backside, throwing that thing into the open spot.
Good job to take that ball across the middle of the field when Rico McGraw had a line on him, too, for Lewis.
Good anticipation, throwing that thing into the hole and letting his receiver run to it.
There's that throw to the outside, but couldn't come up with it. Godwin a little too low. So it'll be 2nd down from the 20-yard line.
Those throws seem like not a big deal, but an I don't know how big his hands are, but A, you got to get the snap and you got to grab it many times without the laces and then gun it out there. It's not that easy a throw.
McSorley's done a nice job. 9 of 18, 100 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He's run 6 times just for 17 yards. Into the game after Hackenberg went down on a run scramble and got landed on. Into the end zone. What a catch! Deshaun Hamilton, touchdown! Got us a ball game now.
That's what I love about college football. Dropping back, got a post route. Man under 2 deep. He's got 3 guys there, and he throws it to the only spot he can, and a phenomenal catch. In between 2 safeties, over the top of a trailing backer.
Tyler Davis is true. What a drive by the Penn State offense, led by the backup quarterback, Trace McSorley. A touchdown pass and a beautiful grab by Deshaun Hamilton. It's a 7-point TaxSlayer Bowl.
I think this says a lot about the heart and the character and the pride of the Penn State program, and really James Franklin, and how positive he is with his guys, that they continue to hang in there, and how they're rallying up with these youngsters. Those type of moments, I think, really show the character of your program. Been outstanding.
I'll say this, the far sideline of the stadium is a lot livelier than it was before. The near side is a lot more concerned. This is Godwin out of the end zone. Nice open field tackle on the bottom of the pile. Sony Michel meets a lot of white jerseys. Jake Cooper, 33, was the first one to hit him for Penn State.
Brandon Bell doing a nice job holding down the edge. Number 11 turned that thing back inside. Been really impressed with the force play of the defense on both of these groups. There's Brandon Bell right there. He's been a force player, done a nice job on the edge for the Nittany Lions today.
Christian Payne is the fullback. Keith Marshall is now the tailback.
Showing zone pressure at the top of the screen again.
Marshall going to have the first down and more. Beautiful run from the senior from Raleigh.
Going to get pressure on the top. They're going to run power away from it. They get everything blocked. That was kind of the perfect call for the perfect blitz.
The first down this quarter for the Bulldogs with a 16-yard run from Keith Marshall. So now down to 5 minutes to go in the game. Can Georgia salt it away, or can Penn State's defense give their offense one more shot? Here's Marshall again. Met hard by Anthony Zettel, 98 on the far side, a 1-yard gain, and a flag comes in late.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 99 defense, 15-yard penalty. That's an automatic first down.
That's huge on Austin Johnson.
Poised under pressure. Coach Franklin obviously disagreeing. It's a big call at this point in the game.
Moves the ball all the way down to the Penn State 42-yard line. Well, now they reset it at the 43. 4.5 to go. First down, Dogs.
I'd stay with the pressure here. Try to get a negative play. Your sack, fumble, blow up the mesh point. Try to create something good. Grayson Lambert there with a hand signal, checking the run play up front.
They snap it with the play clock at 1. In the backfield, there's Austin Johnson.
and Anthony Zettel again. This D-line is really phenomenal. Really phenomenal. Explosive, tough, hard-nosed. Go back and look at that. Just great penetration, both of those guys. Don't dance, don't celebrate. Okay, you already got a penalty. Just get back, play defense.
So the loss of 4 sets the ball back to the 47-yard line. Here's Marshall with running room. Will get stopped shy of the line to gain. Brandon Bell was the first one to hit him. 11 for Penn State. But a 12-yard gain. And so now 3rd down and short.
They've run this play a couple of times where they pull the center, pull the guard. That time, everybody voided out. Marshall hit it right downhill up inside. Didn't go outside this time.
So 3rd down and 2. And a big, huge moment in this ball game. Sony Michel hit, forces his way forward for the 1st down.
Georgia, interestingly enough, decides to go with 1-back formation, not a 2-back formation. Spread Penn State out a little bit and run zone back inside. Sony Michel does a nice job getting his pads down. He can run with power and authority as well. He comes in at 212. He's not a little guy by any means.
19 carries, 83 yards on the day for Michel. 1 touchdown. He's averaging 4 a carry. Penn State thought if they could keep him under 5 a carry, they'd be doing well. We'll have a couple of more tough yards off the right side. Timeout called. Keith Marshall is the tailback.
I like James Franklin taking timeouts early.
They string it out. And a nice wrap up by Brandon Bell.
He is a physical player, that guy. So is he.
So I'm sorry, Hawk. Penn State taking its final timeout there. Sorry.
Yeah.
The 22-yard line is the line to gain. Marshall stopped short. Malik Golden got around his ankles and dropped him about a yard shy of the 1st down. And it's 4th down. Clock running at 2.5 to go.
Malik getting up a little slow there. That's a tough man to bring down.
Their field goal kicker is out of the game with a sprained ankle. Their punter missed one earlier. The offense goes onto the field to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, I think this is the right call. You might as well put it on the 11 that have been there. I don't think you want to bring your backup kicker to kick a field goal in this situation.
Marshall is the tailback. He's got it. And he gets stuffed. Penn State will get the ball at its own 25 with 1:52 to go. Jason Cabinda and Brandon Bell on the stop for the Nittany Lions.
What a rally by Penn State. Trying to run a lead. Weak side lead, motion in the tailback over, trying to run a weak side over here at the bottom of your screen. Stuff right there. Look at that. Just the physicality at the point of attack. Really impressive.
Let's give a nod to Garrett Sickles, rather, 90 in there, fighting his way through a block.
That D-line has played great.
So no timeouts. Penn State and backup quarterback Trace McSorley at their own 25, trailing by 7. Throws it away. Took a lot of time to throw it away. In the direction of Geno Lewis. It'll be 2nd down.
He was trying to make something work there. I was thinking Lewis might. A lot of times and when you scramble drill is, first guy a lot of times will come back. If he doesn't get it, turn around and go down the sideline. And I think McSorley was thinking he was going to turn and run down the sideline.
They just reset the game clock. So second down and 10. Kevin Shearer is the interim Georgia defensive coordinator for this bowl game.
Georgia electing to go with a three-man line.
McSorley throws underneath. Barkley will be stopped at the 29-yard line. Clock running. Minute 30 to go.
Really excellent job by Georgia. If you watch what they're doing, they're pressing outside and they're caging the ball, meaning those guys roll out. They got safeties. They got people on the perimeter not allowing the ball to get outside.
They dump the screen inside. Barkley can't get the first down. It's going to be 4th down and 2. So Penn State made the 4th down stop to get the ball back. Can Georgia make the 4th down stop and end the ball game? First down. Deshaun Hamilton. Inside, a minute to go. They'll stop the clock quickly after the ball is spotted.
Georgia elected to bring pressure a little bit. McSorley doing a nice job shuffling his feet and getting rid of it.
Again to the inside. Barkley wrapped up, knocked around, stopped at the 47-yard line. 40 seconds to go. McSorley throws outside over the top. Intended for Chris Godwin. Quincy Mauger was there on defense. 22 seconds to go. 3rd down and 5.
Penn State maybe looking at a pump route, something where you go Cobb and go on the outside, come back and go. Georgia doing an excellent job keeping things inside and in front of them. 3 deep over the top, 5 under with a 3-man rush.
They need 53 yards in 22 seconds.
Penn State can't afford a play that's not a first down.
Incomplete. Tried to dump the screen off, went through the hands of Saquon Barkley, and it's 4th down.
Had a few problems catching those short screens today.
So your ball game here for Penn State, unless they convert this one. 3 of 5 on 4th down today. 3 of 3 on 4th down in this 4th quarter. He's going to run for it. He's going to have it. And slide down. They've got to hurry. Only 12 seconds to go in the game. The clock will start quickly after they spot the ball. Frantically motioning to spike it. 8 seconds left.
Definitely got to go to the end zone here.
Maybe 2 shots at it, but this might be it.
Unless you got a dig in the lateral.
And now, you and I called that Duke-Miami game this year, so nothing's out of the question on the last play.
Here we go. Fans on their feet. A lot of energy in the crowd.
8 seconds. 4th down. Ball at the 39. Heaves it for the end zone. And it's knocked away. Ball game's over. Georgia wins. Gutty performance by Penn State to rally back in this 4th quarter. But Georgia, through all of the coaching turnover and the turmoil that does cause, gutted one out in the TaxSlayer Bowl. And the final score, Georgia 24, Penn State 17. For Dan Hawkins and Tiffany Green and our entire crew, Alan Bestwick, so long from Jacksonville.